authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
1 through 3. Uh, So, Fox 29 Philly says the jury is dismissed after 5.5 hours of deliberation. Court will resume at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The jury asked the following question about one of the charges. If a recipient asks for a controlled substance and another person hands it over to them, are they distributing? So why don't we also ask Siri and see what they tell us, right? If a recipient asks for a controlled substance and another person hands it over to them, are they distributing? Yes. Siri says yes. AI overview. Oh, shit, man. So it says, yes, if someone hands a controlled substance to another person, even if the recipient asks for it, this action can be considered distribution under the law. Right? Oh, yeah, well, of course. Here's why. Legal definition of distribution typically means the delivery or transfer of possession of a controlled substance to another person. No requirement for financial transaction. The act of distributing can occur regardless of whether any money or other compensation is sharing prescriptions. Even sharing legally prescription drugs without someone not named on the prescription is illegal and cannot be considered unlawful distribution. In essence, any act of giving or transferring a controlled substance to another person can fall under the legal definition of distribution, even if it's a simple act of sharing among friends or family. Now, does that place Diddy under RICO for the amount of whatever they had going on in these freak offs? We'll see. We will see. Let's see what TMZ is dropping some teas on Diddy today. And then we're going to retire till tomorrow on Diddy. Let me know what you guys think. Acquit or convict on Diddy. How much time? If he does get any type of convictions for any charges. Okay. If Diddy is acquitted, what do you think will be his next moves? Like, where do you think that he will go? How do you think that he will continue to live his life? How do you think he will handle his newfound?
Today on TMZ.
So what do you get when Tom Brady, Orlando
Okay, that's not
Bloom, and Leo DiCaprio are in the same room?
So that's not what I'm looking for.
With Sydney Sweeney, three bros bonding.
These guys, who are all at the Bezos Sanchez wedding, decided that they all want to hang out, just the dudes.
And we are in a verdict, but it all boils down to what 12 individuals believe. Agnifilo used one old tired phrase after the next. She wanted it. She got paid. It was just homemade porn. Really? As if that's defense?
The jury and the galley was looking like, sir, what are you talking about?
Agnifilo, the lead defense attorney, stated that Cassie was gangsta. Did he actually say the word gangsta? The white bread boy from law school called the rape victims gangsta. Did I just hear that?
Cassie was gangster. Cassie was a minx that seduced all these men. She was gangster. She could take 2 or 3 men at a time. The one that liked sex. She liked it. She was in control. That was a very cringe moment.
Oh, okay, that was way cringy.
I still think Diddy is running the whole show.
He certainly likes to win and have things his own way. I know he's looking at that jury like an audience.
This whole gray hair act, you know, he's doing that on purpose.
He always is thinking about image. He's always thinking about himself.
He was trying to look contrite. He wants the jury to feel sorry for him.
He's been on stage and he knows what it's like to lose an audience.
He doesn't want the cameras to pick up on this.
Now he's sitting in this courtroom and he can tell, he's a professional at this, Nancy. He can tell that this just is not working.
Nancy Grace. Not for nothing, as Nancy Grace is waving that Tootsie Roll around. There was a testimony of one of the witnesses or whatever, however have you, that testified in the Diddy trial for the prosecution. In one of his interviews, I forget if it was the Punisher or the other one. I think it was the No. It was the guy that did the interview with Armand. Okay, he did not testify. It was the Punisher that testified. What's going on with my fucking computer?
Vanity, thy name is Diddy. Okay, let me understand what you just said, Tisa Tells. Everyone, Tisa Tells from Tisa Tells
like
on
a thing over my computer, y'all. Hold on. Okay, there it is. So anyway, he did an interview with Armand, and Armand had brought up the Tootsie Roll theory of Diddy's, regional area. And he was like, is it the size of a Tootsie Roll? And he was like, whatever. He was like, deflecting away from the question. And then he was like, well, is it like yours? And the guy was like, hell no, like not flash, right? We did a review on that interview. He was like, no, I have a bigger package than Diddy. But this is crazy. Why is Diddy's question in the trial for his life? Like, that is just crazy to me.
YouTube, joining us outside the courthouse, and what a day it has been in the courtroom.
I mean, I know why Nancy's saying it, because
and we'll get into jury instructions in just
a lot of money, but a little
you
man complex, which is probably why he's somewhere, doing what he's doing to women, how he's doing it. But when it came up in the courtroom, I'm like, why is it there? But not for nothing.
Say that Agnifilo, the lead defense attorney, stated that Cassie was gangsta and that she was fine to take 2 to 3 men at once.
He said that what he actually said was she would juggle them 2, 3 at a time. But Nancy,
Wow.
you hit it on the head.
Wow, that is a lot. I don't know. Maybe my computer.
That inference, that little sly, gross thought he was trying to plant in the jury's head, 2 to 3. Let's not forget when she was getting the train ran on her. It was 2 or 3 people. It was disgusting to see what he was doing. And that inference that you picked up on was not lost on the jury. He lost them with that old misogyny. It was too much. It was too much.
Okay, wait a minute. Did he actually say the word gangsta? Did he say that?
Yes. He said Cassie was straight up. And this is right after he was referring to her juggling 2 or 3 at a time. Cassie was gangster. She didn't care. I mean, I guess I don't want to sound judgy. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a woman that liked sex. She liked it. She was in control. She knew what she wanted. It was back to back to back grossness. And again, I can understand if the prosecution had not done such a great job with their closing arguments. Maybe he could have stated by, but it was night and day, and it really made the jury, in my mind, say, whose side are you on, and where are you going to draw the line at where you see victims? It was very startling.
So let me understand this. The white bread boy from law school called the rape victims gangsta. Did I just hear that?
Yes, and again, it sounded just as cheesy and corny and landed like a load of bricks, but he still did it. And it made me think, was Diddy involved in that closing argument? Was he about no college straight? Again, maybe right message, wrong messenger. That was a very cringe moment. You know, as soon as it came out of Mark's mouth, you could tell he just wanted to make that go away and just move on to the next point.
Okay, joining me, Rob Shooter. He is the host of Naughty But Nice podcast, and you can find him at Rob Shooter, and that's SHU. TER, not bang bang shooter. robshooter.substack.com, former publicist for Sean
Oh my God, I don't know why this is doing this.
Combs. Okay, I'm just trying to get that mental picture of Agnifilo, the white bread boy from law school, fixing his mouth to call the rape victims gangsta, and they could take it, that Cassie could juggle, pull a train, 2 to 3 men at a time. You're the PR guru. I bet that fell flat.
Worse than that, Nancy. It's absolutely tone deaf. I'm shocked that Diddy's paying good money for this legal team. And Diddy is a perfectionist. At least when I worked with him, he certainly likes to win and have things his own way. I can't believe that this is the argument that they're using, that he's allowing them to use, that he's not objecting to it. He has made a living for 20 years, really, really understanding what the audience wants. I know he's looking at that jury like an audience. He's been on stage and he knows what it's like to lose an audience. He's played the Garden, some of the biggest venues in the world. Now he's sitting in this courtroom and he can tell, he's a professional at this, Nancy. He can tell that this just is not working. I'm so surprised that they're doing this, and I'm even more surprised that Diddy hasn't at least tried to correct this ship. It's a bad, bad look.
They had Sean Combs dressed up like a Harvard freshman again in court today, wearing his usual cream-colored sweater. But I heard that throughout the judge's instructions, very often he had his head down. Why? What was happening?
When he had his head down, for some reason, here's the thing, he had his head down. I get what he was going for. He was trying to look contrite. He wants the jury to feel sorry for him. But I will say his messaging and his body language has been very off. Diddy, every morning, he does come out the door like a celebrity. He walked in, he paused, almost like he expected everyone to take pictures and whatnot. Now, this is maybe 8 feet. He has to walk. He walked to the side. He did his smile. He did the love. He blew kisses at his family, told his daughters he loved them, mouthed I love you, and then said nodding, because he remembered he's supposed to be a frail old man. He forgets sometimes. In his head, I think he's that young, sprightly 25-year-old that, shake hands, kiss babies, and charm the ladies. I don't think he realizes that he comes across a little creepy in court. So when he has his head down, it looks like, I get it, you're trying to look sad. We're going to sleep. Hello? Are you up? When he's sitting there trying to look contrite, he looks like somebody's grandfather trying to look like a 3-year-old. Even when you look at his body language, dressed like a Harvard law student, always a fresh haircut, but his hair is graying, which, again, where are you going with the image? I would think that if you are being accused of making these women do freak-offs and it's something you do to please your lover, you would want to look as young and handsome as possible to make it seem like these girls could actually be attracted to you without coercion. That is not the case. So again, it's just another misfire and Diddy thinking he knows more than anything.
I love the way that Tisa Tells explains that point of the fucking trial right now. She's like, if you are trying to convince us that you weren't making these girls do whatever you had going on, you got us messed up, because there ain't no way they was willingly doing nothing with you, Grandpa.
Said, like Rob said, he's made a whole career out of reading people. So maybe he sees something on the jury that we don't.
Okay, Rob Shooter joining us, host of Naughty But Nice podcast. Rob Shooter, if he walks, the first place he's going is to the Dwayne Reed or the CVS right around the corner from the courthouse. Actually, he would send a minion to do it. He wouldn't do it himself. And tank back up on Just for Men. This whole gray hair act, he's doing that on purpose to make himself look frail and pitiful in front of the jury. Not like a guy that could beat Cassie Ventura's rear end on video, dragging her up and down the hall. And as was pointed out last week, holding on, he didn't mind beating her with one hand. But one thing he did hold on to, was hold on to that towel so this wouldn't show, okay? Let me see that video one more time, please. No matter what he did, he did the all-star punting kicks. He came running down the hall. Look at that. Grabbing her stuff. Ow. Okay, I never get past those kicks while she's laying there playing dead. But he never lets go of the towel. And many people have suggested it's because at all costs, he doesn't want the cameras to pick up on this. Okay? So, vanity, thy name is Diddy.
I think that's a beautiful, very, very smart way of really summarizing who he is, Nancy. He always is thinking about image. He's always thinking about himself. He's always thinking about the way he can sell something. Let's be really clear here. Puffy is not a star because he's a great rapper, a great singer, a great actor, a great dancer. No, he's a great PR guy. He's a great marketing guy. And so I would imagine he was pretty angry with his son for wearing that T-shirt, because it's the opposite thing to what Diddy has been portraying in the court. So I would imagine Puff was not that happy about that. But I do think here it would be so easy and a mistake for us all to believe that this is over. The word that I'm hearing, not in the courtroom, but on the street, in the music business, is they're all expecting him to be home really, really soon. And so you got to take that into account too. It's very easy to get into this bubble where the evidence is so strong and what should happen is what we want to happen. But often that isn't the case, particularly when a marketing, a manipulative person is involved, and Diddy's that.
Rob, the daughters who have had to leave court several times in tears during the testimony, that's a whole nother can of worms, why he had his daughters and children in there listening to the worst of the worst from the state. They all dressed in black today. And I remember prosecuting, I never wore like red, yellow, vibrant orange, because the cases I prosecuted were all violent felonies. And it just seemed wrong. It just seemed inappropriate. And so it's a very solemn note. And that Diddy orchestrated right down to what they were wearing.
Yeah, I think you're right, Nancy. What I will say, though, here is that there's a little bit of performance going on, too, with the kids. I don't want to go after someone's kids for their parents' crimes, but it has been undoubted that Puffy's kids have had a really amazing life because of their dad, and because of what their dad does and who their dad is. These are not the Von Trapp family. They have seen a lot. These kids have been around his parties. They've been around his
Not the
life.
Von Trapp family. Did you just... You're talking about, what, the 7 children of, in Sound of Music that would put on those frocks and sing at the Family Music Festival? Yeah, no, the Von Trapps, they ain't. That's true. Go ahead.
Why did I touch my computer?
It ain't that. This is a family that has been around money, power, fame. Celebrities, sex, violence. They've heard their dad's songs. They've rapped along to other rap art. Strange scenes, strange environments. So I wouldn't feel too bad for the kids here. I think that they're part of the Combs family. It's a deal that maybe they didn't want to make. They had no choice in it, but they've been born into this lifestyle and they have benefited from their dad's success, from his money.
I'm very surprised you brought up the Von Trapp family. Weren't they raised by a nun, Sister Maria? Remember her, aka Julie Andrews? Okay, these children have not been raised by a nun, okay? But following up on what you said, to me, Dr. Bethany Marshall, that makes me feel for these children even more so, because they never had what I had. Of course, I grew up on a red dirt road, drinking water from a well my grandfather dug in the backyard, okay? But you know what I did have? I had a mother that took care of me and a father. Both of them worked all day into the night, came home, had supper with us, and they were there for me. I mean, it ain't easy for my dad to work on the railroad and my mom to work at a factory, right? But they did. But we had love. These children never had that constant in their life. Now they're sitting in their dad's felony trial. A lot of people have asked me, wow, how do you feel about Christian Combs putting you on a diss track? I didn't see it that way at all. I didn't see it as a diss at all. I saw it as an adult son trying to take up for his father, and I actually feel bad that they're in that position.
I do too, Nancy. They've been raised in a culture of sex abuse, of violence, a culture of narcissism, guns, multiple mothers, half siblings. It's just a very confusing environment. And, this is going to be a therapeutic experience for them sitting in court, because they have to take in all kinds of information about their father.
Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? You're getting your father accused of sex trafficking. Therapeutic, yes. Okay?
Yes, I am, Nancy. It's called
you're out in Beverly Hills, and I was raised on a dirt road, but ain't nothing therapeutic about hearing the truth about your father, that he's a sex trafficker.
So. I do, Nancy, because they have to be in reality. They've been raised in an upside down world. Listen to what Agnifilo said today, okay? So when he says that Cassie Ventura was just trying to please her man, just because your man wants it and you don't, but you're just going to do it to make him happy, he's basically saying women need to take it up, okay? As an analyst, I hear all the metaphors. I hope those kids sitting in court, hearing all this degradation of women, have a good therapist to talk to so they can make sense of it. And all of this putting women down because Cassie Ventura got $20 million. With Michael Jackson, when he paid his first victim $30 million, we didn't know that 9-year-old was a gold digger. We said Michael Jackson must have done something really, really bad if he paid out $30 million.
Okay, I have not heard this. Diddy's son dropped a rap about Nancy
walking into the courtroom. Oh, namaste. What? A yoga, Zen thing.
Greeting his lawyers with a yoga studio-esque bow.
Namaste. My rear end.
This is horrific that he's allowed to walk into court and he's being all cute and calm.
He can namaste his way all the way to the MDC. He wasn't all namaste in the middle of all these freak-offs. He can chill out behind bars for the rest of his life for all I care.
So this guy isn't concerned at all with kicking her, beating her, dragging her. You know what he's concerned with? And Nancy, I'm going somewhere I never thought I would go. He's concerned with holding his towel up. He cares about keeping that. There you go. I thought I'd never go here, Nancy, but I have to go there because I woke up thinking about it. He's more concerned that we don't see that TR. I don't want to say the whole thing because this is a family program.
Tootsie
But that's
Roll,
what he.
people
you
have
can say
even
it
gone
for
so
him.
far to refer to it as a little raisin. Straight back out to Sydney Sumner, Crime Stories investigative reporter. I understand that Sean Combs had his son Christian Combs, along with his god uncle Kanye, very busy last night.
Yes, they have released an EP today, and one of the songs on that EP is called Diddy Free, and the lyrics say that we aren't going to sleep until we see Diddy free. And those lyrics actually mention you, Nancy. They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy. So this isn't the first song that he's released speaking about his dad's legal troubles. And honestly, I don't think they're doing any positive things for him. This Bible might come in handy. This rifle might come in handy. I don't think threatening gun violence is really doing much to persuade anyone that your dad is innocent of these crimes.
Okay, the jurors get to go home every night. They are not sequestered, and they can be exposed to this rap song created by, God help him, Christian Combs and Kanye. Why you would want your child around Kanye, I do not know, but that's a whole nother can of worms. Let's take a look at the lyrics. Ain't gonna sleep till we see Diddy free. Ain't gonna sleep till we see Diddy free. When it gets sus, they try to play the victim. Playing the victim, that's an attack on the victims. Outspoken, I ain't keeping in. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I noticed part of it refers to a Plan B, which is an abortion drug, which came up during this trial. It says they ain't got to lose. What are they talking about? The victims or the jurors? I ain't one of them. And then it goes on to talk about Astro. What? Astro lied? And it says, damn, why the am I in the tabloids? You know what? That's a really good question. Why Combs's children have been dragged into this? They are being used as a PR tool. And now, you want to tell me this happened without Sean Combs knowing that it would drop just before the defense closing arguments? Further looking at the lyrics that dropped last night, the Bible might come in handy. Like what? It's a prop. The rifle might come in handy. I don't know if my dad was charged with brandishing weapons, if that came out in evidence, and I'm referring to the Suge Knight attack attempt that the minions described on the stand. I don't know if I would be talking about a rifle. Then, of course, Christ gets dragged in. It's one night I want Jesus Christ to answer. Then they want to stop me, the kid. They want to stop the kid like a Plan B. Okay, we heard the testimony. And we know about, whether the jury understands it fully, that one woman was forced into an abortion. They don't understand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy. And it refers to Bad Boy throughout. That would be Bad Boy Records. Okay, let's hear it.
They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy.
Okay, some people ask, are you angry? No, I'm not. I'm full of remorse for what Sean Combs is doing to his children. Eric Faddis joining me, veteran trial lawyer. Have you ever prosecuted a case where the children, unless they were the victims, thought their parents did it? Because I don't think I've ever had a case where the children thought their dad was guilty, even adult children. They never believe the parent did it.
Yeah, Nancy, I can't think of one. Really, the family often rallies around the defendant in these cases, provides support. They want to believe. They want to believe their family member is not guilty of these heinous allegations. And that's understandable. But oftentimes, like you mentioned, the family can be brought in sort of as pawns, sometimes in the trial itself, sometimes outside the trial, especially in these highly publicized case. And I think a lot of folks think that may be what was going on with Diddy and his children.
Let's take one more listen to Diddy Free. This is released by possibly the only person in the world that thinks Sean Combs is innocent, and that would be his son, standing by him. God bless him. Christian King Combs, and of course, the illustrious Kanye.
They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them give me grace, even Nancy. Tell them pump they...
Whoa. What? A yoga Zen thing? What are you talking about?
Well, Nancy, I don't know if you've ever been to a yoga class. I used to attend pretty often, but you just, at the end of class, at the beginning of class, you put your hands together and you do a short little bow to everyone else in the classroom to show your respect for everyone. And that's exactly what Combs has been doing to all 8 of his lawyers in the courtroom every morning when he comes to see them.
Sydney, you cannot live in New York City, in Manhattan, and not be subjected to a yoga class, particularly a hot yoga class, the worst. But what you're saying is like a Zen namaste. Oh, okay. You know what? Straight out to Lynn Shaw joining me, executive director, founder of Lynn's Warriors, dedicated to ending sexploitation, trafficking of women and girls. Namaste my rear end. He can namaste his way all the way to the MDC. He wasn't all namaste in the middle of all these freak-offs. You know how big of a stack? They had to do an 800 number for all the women calling in claiming that they were victims of Sean Combs freak-offs, king nights, hotel nights, whatever euphemism he wants to use. These women claiming they were drugged in their drinks, that they woke up covered in baby oil with their vaginas hurting, and he's all namaste my rear end.
What a slap in the face to all victims of any kind of sexual exploitation, abuse. I mean, this is horrific. And you know what? I'm putting my money on the jury that everybody can see right through this act of contrition, because this is horrific that he's allowed to walk into court and he's being all cute and calm. And you know what? Yesterday I was saying I don't want to call him the nicknames I've called him, Dirty Diddy and things like that. But today I want to go back to that because I am sick and tired of this. Who is protecting, who is talking to, who is giving advice, counsel to these hundreds, as far as we know, right? Victims of his, probably thousands over the years. So I'm just hoping that this playbook of his, this Dirty Diddy playbook, everybody's on to him. Everybody's sick of him. And you know what? We have to turn that focus and hope and hope and hope that victims, survivors, anybody watching this, he's turning it into a laugh stock fest here, some kind of festival. This is a court of law. He's supposed to be up for his life, right? And the family and him and the lawyers singing, it's too much, Nancy. It's just too much.
I know. Did you hear that yesterday, Dr. Bethany Marshall? You were with us last night when we learned that Agnifilo, the defense attorney, went on the mic and started singing, her name was Lola. He started singing Copacabana in a sex trafficking trial. And it just threw me over the edge because I have dealt with rape victims. Look around. I'm looking around the studio. At least 1 in 4 women have been sex assault victims. Think about that. Think about it. People you'd never suspect. have been sex assault victims. And he's singing Copa into the microphone, and now Sean Combs comes in and does the namaste. Really? He can chill out behind bars for the rest of his life for all I care.
Nancy,
What's the
it's not just
dichotomy?
Copa.
What is this?
Well, it's one more male, and females do it too, minimizing the severity of sex trafficking. Nancy, I don't think our nation or world really understands what sex trafficking is. This whole question that maybe the women consented, that means they were in a relationship and not that they were coerced, is so false when you think of the whole psychology of sex trafficking.
We're going to stop it there and end our day on Diddy. So a lot of predictions about Diddy. People are saying he may get acquitted. They're saying that they will throw a party for Diddy. If so, if convicted, the former warden at the jail where he's being held at now says that he will immediately go to one of the prisons, whatever custody, he'll be released into, depending on whatever level of charge, he's convicted on, will determine his level of custody in prison. And he will, start off on the lowest level tier of the food chain. Just because he doesn't mean he'll go in and run the prison essentially in that nature. But he will start off in the kitchen or whatever, working, stirring, washing, scraping, scrubbing, fucking, sucking. And then Diddy will move to whatever next, could potentially be, for him as he continues to serve out his sentence, if that's the possibility of a conviction. Let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think? We've done a full day of the deliberations. We're verdict watching for Diddy. They are in the deliberation for the jury. This is so exciting. Oh my God. We have really come down to the wire with Diddy's shit, y'all. So we have been consistent and God's been blessing us. We made our 1,000 subscribers and, we're climbing on our watch hours. We're going to be monetized here soon. We're going to keep it going. We're not going to drop the momentum at all. If I even feel now I'm gonna find the drive and motivation as y'all have done to watch me. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Continue to fill up y'all's teacups. I'm gonna continue to keep my tea kettle on so that I can continue to fill y'all up. This is Tanisha Talks Teas. Y'all let me know down in the chat, what do y'all think's gonna happen, acquit or convict? If he's convicted, how much time will he get, on what charges? And if he's acquitted, what will his next moves be? What will Diddy do after acquittal? Let me know down in the chat, y'all. Thank you for sipping tea with Tanisha. Have a blessed, safe night. Remember to love and hug your loved ones. Stay tuned for my next upload.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing.
Sippers. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday, almost evening? We are live back up here on the partial verdict for Diddy, y'all. Okay, I heard they came in with a partial verdict. So what say the jurors? Okay, I hear that it's undecided on the RICO. So what say that? Okay, we are Hi Sippers, Facebook, Kick, and Twitch. Remember, when you come into the room, to lift up your teacups to get your cup filled up with some tea. Also, like and subscribe. Okay, my okay is very large. So, what say you guys? Why do you think they are partially back in with a verdict? Okay, partial DB verdict. Let's see. It's T. CBS News Watch was on it, bitch. They was on it. Okay. They was on it, y'all. Everybody jumping on it, giving us the latest greatest tea. Okay, so let's taste a little bit, see how it tastes in our mouth, sippers. Hopefully it's not something we can spit out and be ashamed of. Okay.
Recently has told the court it is unable to come to a consensus on count one, that being racketeering. City, the jury in the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking trial has reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts. The jury very recently has told the court it is unable to come to a consensus on count one, that being racketeering conspiracy. I want to bring in our Jericka Duncan, who has been following this case from CBS News from its inception. Jericka, as you well know, this is a high-impact, high-visibility story. Lots of people probably got phone messages alerting them to this news. Reset the clock for those just maybe tuning in. What has transpired in the last hour?
In the last hour, we've seen Sean Combs' children arrive in 2 sprinters. They just went inside the federal courthouse there. His mother was there earlier today, and about an hour ago, I remember seeing a couple of the defense attorneys running inside. So it was clear that there was an update. And throughout this, we've been receiving notes. But this particular note read, according to our reporter that's inside, quote, "We have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, 5. Unable on count 1, they said, have jurors with unpersuadable opinions." So what are counts 2, 3, 4, and 5? Those have to do with the sex trafficking and transportation for the purpose of prostitution. They involve Cassie Ventura, an ex-girlfriend of Combs, as well as Jane, another person who testified under that pseudonym, also an ex-girlfriend of Sean Combs. That racketeering conspiracy, though, that is the most serious charge, and it's complicated. There are 8 criminal elements. The jurors only have to prove that 2 of them, or feel that 2 of them have been proven, in order for him to be found guilty on that racketeering. even when you take a look at this verdict sheet, for instance, Major, there's the racketeering conspiracy, and then there's the not guilty. And under that, each juror would tell us, the public, the court, if they believe, for instance, acts involving kidnapping, that Combs was involved in that, whether that was proved or not proved, or acts involving arson, or acts involving bribery. So we knew that that one might be something that these jurors could possibly be deliberating on for quite some time, or in this case, have jurors, according to this note, that have unpersuadable opinions. But what we're hearing again right now, that the jurors have reached a verdict. We don't know what that verdict is, though, on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5.
And Jericka, just to get a sense of things, and I know this is evolving literally by the moment, do you have any sense, based on what you've heard from the courtroom, how this will play out this afternoon? Might it continue in tomorrow? Might the judge tell the jury, I want you to try a little harder, spend a little bit more time on count 1? Or is there any expectation we might have the verdicts for those other counts you mentioned actually read out today?
It appears the prosecution and the defense would like the jurors to deliberate a little bit longer. Remember, they just got this case yesterday at about 11:40 in the morning. So they haven't been deliberating that long. And the judge appears to be moving in that direction. The last note that I saw said that we're looking at possible proposals, but it does appear that they were moving in the direction of wanting these jurors to deliberate a little bit longer on that count 1 racketeering conspiracy. There is a chance, though, they could stay a little bit longer.
I am so sorry, sippers. I just updated my computer and it's, I guess, catching up to the update, and I just jumped right on, for the breaking news of the Diddy partial verdict back from the jurors. So yeah,
Tonight, because early on, the judge said during his instructions, listen, the court closes at 5, but if you all feel that you want to go a little bit later, let us know, and we
I don't know, but thank you so much for joining me on the verdict partial for Diddy. Right now, we know that Diddy is up for 4 verdicts in. So they have, reached a unanimous decision for Diddy on 4 counts.
Accommodations.
Okay.
So perhaps we're in that space of maybe they deliberate a little bit longer. Maybe they deliberate until 7 o'clock this evening. We don't know. But that was always an option that the judge set out during his jury instructions yesterday.
Jericka, you've covered this case extensively, and that is putting it mildly. Remind our audience the central arguments made by the prosecutors and the defense counsel representing Sean Diddy Combs.
The government essentially said that Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise for his sexual desires, that he tried to cover up crimes, that he was the leader of this criminal enterprise, and that he committed at least 2 that they believe of these elements that are part of the racketeering conspiracy. In fact, I can't even say at least 2. They believe that he committed all of them, but they only need 2 from the jurors, as I mentioned before. The defense, though, in their closing arguments said that there were 2 trials that were going on here. One that had to do with witnesses that they believe were not.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay dipping.